Like, it just keeps changing.
It's time for another episode of Book Witch Taty Video Diaries.
Dilemma for this habit. Oh my god! I'm freaking out because I was so focused on my dogs. It's not great. It's really not great.
Hi, kittens.
And get things done. Okay, hi, hello, and welcome to another reading and personal curriculum vlog. This week, we are going to be focusing on building a new consistent reading habit. I do read a lot, so that's not an issue for me, but reading consistently is. I've always been the type of person who tends to binge things. That's true with my reading. I tend to read a lot over a couple of days and then not read anything for a week. And then I'll read a lot and then I won't read much, and so on and so forth. And I would like to be more consistent. Very specifically, would like to deep read and annotate as the big part of this.
I also want to use this as a time for me to build and expand on my commonplace zettelkasten. Hey Tella, hey Graham, I am trying to film.
Basically, I would like to build out my zettelkasten or commonplace a lot more as well. So I would like to utilize this time to do a combination of deep reading and expanding on this. And depending on how I feel, it might be more or less of one or these other things. There are other habits I would like to build into my day-to-day, but I want to keep it pretty straightforward and pretty simple to start off with. I am including a little bit of flexibility with this so that it's more achievable for me. And hopefully this process will be interesting. It is definitely going to be a long-term thing. It's not going to happen right off the bat. Apparently, it takes closer to 3 to 5 months for people to actually build habits, and it could be even longer for someone with ADHD. So, we'll see. We will see. But this is the beginning of something. Okay, chaos ensues here on the desk. I technically started my first reading bit early. I'm reading a book for another video, so I won't go into details on that one, but I am hoping to continue some of Jane Eyre, and technically My official reading time hasn't even started yet because I got an early start since it was too cold and he didn't actually want to do a long walk this morning. So we weren't actually out for very long. And I guess I should give you an update on the book that I'm currently reading. So I mentioned I'm reading Stephen King's On Writing, and I thought that I was going to be heavily annotating this, but it's very just generally story driven, but in a way that is actually very useful. He's telling stories about his like childhood and young adulthood and what inspired him to write certain things, the stories of his first writing and those experiences, some of the failures, some of the successes, all of that stuff. And then we've just shifted into what does that mean for the advice. So I don't know if like the second half is going to be more stories or if we're going to focus more on traditional nonfiction like writing advice. I'm probably somewhere around here in it and I'm enjoying it. I think it's good, but it's definitely not a book that I need to deeply annotate. Also, of course, the cats are in the back going wild. Why are you trying to eat my book? I saw that. You think you're slick? Ma'am, you're not slick. Neither are you, Graham. Okay, so I have successfully done my reading for the day. It took me ages to only get like 36 pages into the main book that I was reading, and I started early. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I'm keeping that for the dedicated video on that book. I'm kind of tempted to pick up one of my original planned books for the month, but also as the whole point of this is to work on the commonplace zettelkasten as well. And I do have, although I have to find them, I believe I have 3 new cards floating around of things that popped up in different things that I was consuming. And so I can build off of these cards and find places for them in here. I also have a whole stack here in the back of cards that I haven't actually found a place for. So this is something that I can always do for this part of time, is like go through these, because it is time consuming to process and input the cards in here, which is kind of the point, because there's a level of thinking that is required to like grab stuff. But I don't know, I'm not entirely sure what I feel up to. There's part of me that wants to keep reading because I was kind of on a roll, not with the same book, because I would like to jump into something that I know I'm already enjoying. So far, I'm like loving Jane Eyre right off the bat. But, you know, it could also be nice to make some progress on this because I've been enjoying the reread, even though I'm not enjoying the book. I might be enjoying it more than I did the first time, but still not as much as I would like. Whereas I'm genuinely enjoying this one, so that's a good one to read. But it also would be nice to work on this because that's another thing. I feel like I'm procrastinating a little bit right now. This is something that I think would be more beneficial if I decide the day before what the plan is. And then unless something, you know, massive happens the day of, only then would I change the plans. I think I'm gonna go with working on the cards. That's what this is meant to be, is so that I can keep expanding this and having dedicated time. I'll be able to fit in this reading later. Like, I tend to fit in reading in general. And also, like, I could have these be tomorrow's focus or have just one of them be tomorrow's focus. Who knows? But yeah, I guess now we're going to go through my cards, input them in here, and then I can switch over to video editing because that's another big thing that I want to do today. So I
Guess let's get into it.
Okay, hi, hello. So I actually just got back from another quick walk with Reese. We're not doing big ones because it's pretty cold and he's not super interested. And I do think he is fighting another cold, so I want him to get as much rest as possible so that he's not sick when I have to board him. That being said, I did continue on writing and I have officially got to the on writing portion of it. And I understand why people think that this is such a, I don't know, amazing book for writing inspiration. And I don't know how to describe the feeling that I'm getting from the advice. The key thing that I find fascinating and is the way I like to write short stories and like poetry and things like that and want to be able to write a novel is not focusing too much on the structure and the plot. I love the idea of being a pantser. I love the idea of finding the story as you're writing, but I've struggled every time I've tried to do that and found myself writing a whole lot of nonsense. And so I feel like that's not something that I can do. But he talks about how he approaches it and really focusing on the what if / situation that the whole story is under, and then how the characters would react to that situation and any moments that would come, and you kind of build on top of that and learn as you're developing the how would this situation play out, and that may or may not go somewhere. And so I was thinking about utilizing the Alice in Wonderland just like framework and seeing if I could develop that. And I feel like now I'm in the moment, which once again, and I'm not mad at this because I feel like this is all like helpful, but I'm overthinking it and I would desperately like to be able to write. I find myself constantly itching to write and then getting too much in my head and not doing it. So I feel like using his method for shorter ideas would probably be a good way to do some practice. I do think it would be valuable for me to just do some writing. I don't know, but I do get it now. Why so many people talk about this so highly is because once you get to that section, and that's not to say that the first section wasn't good. It was. I really enjoyed hearing all of these, you know, like snippets and moments in his life that he learned from and built on and affected different things. And I found that inspiring, but not as useful as the second part is. Definitely has gotten to a part where I feel like I should just pick up and start writing. Like, don't overthink it and just jump into it. So that's exciting. In other news, and I guess I should put my computer glasses back on, but in other news, today, as most days for me as of late, has not been going as planned. I was supposed to be doing a ton of video editing, and I ended up doing a bunch of cleaning instead. Productive procrastination, queen of it. So I'm very happy to have done the cleaning that I did do, but I haven't touched my video that's supposed to go out this week. And so I would like to do that. I would like to start editing this video. I would like to kind of get things in order because I feel like there's a lot of stuff right now that I'm working on that I'm excited about and that I think will be fun to share, but I need to do it. So today was successful in hitting my new habit building goals, but not so much in anything else. Okay, so my computer was having some issues, so I am restarting it, but I did manage to finish on writing, and yeah, this was really good. It really makes me want to just dive into my own stuff. So I'm a little bit bummed that I have other stuff that I should be doing. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to try to just list out a bunch of ideas that I'm interested in and just go from there. I don't know. Who knows? This whole writing thing, like, it just keeps changing. Every 2 seconds, something happens and makes me go, am I doing the right thing? Which, fair. I think that's one of the reasons why part of me is all like, I want to start writing because I'm going to be flip-flopping back and forth with the best way to go about setting things up. And I could do that forever. So I appreciate getting some advice that could help with that so that hopefully I can still stay on track while being able to write the way that I feel like I would enjoy the most. I don't know. But then I also love having structure and guidance. So I don't know. We'll see. The easiest thing for me to start with is this method though. So I might as well do that and I can still work out more complex stuff for other things. Oh my goodness. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Look at that.
Do you really want me to take off the head thing? Because I will.
Good morning. Okay, so we are currently doing a early walk. I'm testing out his winter coat. It's currently 20 degrees right now, Fahrenheit, so it's pretty cold. Okay, so we are back. Had a wonderful walk with the peanut butter cup. I absolutely think his little snow jacket thing is super adorable. I am still hoping for him to rest because I do think he's fighting a cold, as am I, which I'm super nervous about. So I'm gonna try and take it easy, hopefully rest so that I don't develop a cold because I really can't have that right now, especially since I'm supposed to be traveling next week. So I can't have that. I've got a wedding that I'm supposed to go to. I need to be healthy. So I'm going to be focusing on trying to get healthy, stay healthy for the rest of the week and like really wish me luck because I have such bad luck with when I get sick. And I can't. It's not fair. That being said, yesterday I did start Alice's Adventure in Wonderland and I feel like I can finish this pretty quick today, probably during our next walk or something like that. I didn't want to listen to anything during our morning walk, so I didn't make any progress, but I did get a good chunk into it. It's exactly what I remember, but I'm pretty sure I've never actually read this. I feel like videos, cartoons, animations, I feel like they have stuck to this pretty straight, and I almost want to say that some of the adaptations maybe have like read parts of it because like I don't know, like it felt like I've read it before is kind of how it felt, but I'm almost positive that I haven't. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but even if I had, I don't think I would have remembered it as much as I do. So I really think it's just all of the adaptations really capture the original vibe. And I'm sure I've heard quotes here and there while watching different things talking about it. So perhaps that's what I'm thinking of. Since I finished Stephen King's On Writing, I felt so much like inspiration from the like tips and advice that he includes in the book that I'm like really excited to come up with some ideas and just jump into something. So this morning, that's what I was doing. I was just thinking through all of these different ideas and I like wrote down a bunch of stuff. A lot of like what if to like build stories off of, which is something that Stephen King does. And my brain feels like this is the solution. This is going to get me past this block. But I am procrastinating. I'm scared. I'm worried that this is just going to be the same thing that I've done before, even though there's a little bit more direction. I feel like then when I usually go in blind, I love the idea of uncovering a story as I'm writing it. But when I've done that previously, I had no direction at all. And so I was focusing on all the wrong things and using his advice to be like, well, focus on the situation and then who would best fit the situation and build them out as you're going, and then you're dealing with how does this affect that person and how does that kind of thing. So you like kind of build on top of these different elements and things will uncover them, but a lot of that will happen in the rewrite, the re-edit. I don't know, we'll see. I can see places where this could go wrong, but I also feel like it's better. I want to just start writing, so this will help at least with that. And I can continue to research and plan and work on other things at the same time. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing situation. And I feel like I really need to get that into my head because I so often treat things like it's all or nothing, but it doesn't have to be. So yeah, we are on day 2 of my habit building. Yesterday was super successful in that regards, but I didn't do very much video editing. It is almost time for me to do today's daily habit reading and zettelkasten work. I did end up working on my zettelkasten late in the day, so I used the time that was dedicated for it to do extra reading, and then later on I ended up doing zettelkasten stuff. So I was still building on it, but what I actually ended up doing was starting to digitize my system because I would like to have a digital copy, which does mean I will have to keep them both up to date, which I'm not a big fan of, but I also don't love the idea of having my analog things only be analog. I have a big fear of just losing everything, and so I like having digital backups. I also feel like there are times where it would be easier to work on my zettelkasten if it were digital. So I feel like it might be nice to have a mixture of both, which does mean I need to figure out, like, that's something I'm gonna have to figure out to make it easy. That being said, I do technically do this already with the quote box for the same reason. I was all like, I'm taking all of this time and energy to take these quotes and save them. I would like to have backups of them. And so in my note-taking app in Obsidian, I have the quotes. I need to figure some stuff out, but I did do some work on that, and that's going to be something that I'm going to continue in the future. Like maybe next week I'll focus on digitizing this and figuring out that system as part of this habit. So I'll focus more time on the zettelkasten side of things next week than this week. That being said, I only have a couple more minutes before habit time, so I would like to, well, actually switch out my mug again, because get myself some sugar coffee and then get cozy and do my deep reading for today.
And hi, kitty pies. Hi, handsome. Hey, sleepy boy. Hey, sleepy boy. I wasn't talking to you, ma'am. I wasn't talking to you, ma'am. How are you, sir? Gosh, little vocal babies. So many splashes. I'm gonna need to wipe down this thing. Okay, so I ended up making progress on the book that I have for another video, and I feel like these morning times are pretty successful. I will say though, the whole 2 hours is devoted to the reading. I find myself just being like, oh, I want to continue. So that's okay if that's what this ends up being, because there's still just the option of me working on the zettelkasten sometimes, but it is a little bit annoying that I haven't been able to do it. I don't know, but I'm a little bit flexible whenever I first start something. So I'm trying to feel how things are going. Day 2 is successful that I read for 2 hours in this morning, deep reading.
But now, like I said, I should hunker down and do some video editing so I can get last week's video out and I can start working on this one so that it's not really hard for me to do next week, which is gonna be busy. So fingers crossed. I also need to find some time to work on my personal curriculum because that's what we're supposed to be doing. And here I am focusing on all this other stuff, but also I guess not, because I am reading this, which is part of that. I'm reading this, which is part of that. So I am doing some stuff and I'm planning out some stories to work on. And I really do hope this week we can actually get some writing done. So I think we're not doing too bad.
Look at these cutie pies. Both of you guys did yawns. Oh, I distracted her. She's left the building.
Reese always looks extra sad. He's got puppy dog eyes down like nobody's business. Oh man, why are cats evil? They pulled down the entire thing. That's my shower curtain. I know, it was you. You definitely. It is starting to snow.
Okay, can we?
So I finished, but I've been uploading it for like 20 minutes. So that's not great. Okay, hi, hello. So I finished editing last week's video. I did not touch this week's yet, which I'm a little bit nervous about, honestly, but hopefully I can squeeze in some time sometime. I want to say tomorrow, but tomorrow's probably going to be busy. Tuesday is a holiday, so I might be able to do it then, but I'm also going to have to worry about like packing and stuff. But anyway, I'm really tired. So I'm gonna go to bed. I need to edit more and I need to read more, and there's just so much that I need to do. I had mentioned that I started putting together a Substack and I was working on a personal curriculum November post, but because last week was so stressful, that's been on hold. So I would like to finish that at some point, but that's a future me problem. Right now is the worst time to do any of this stuff. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna get to my I think I'm already getting into my head about the whole Substack thing because I want it to be really good. And so now I'm afraid to actually do anything because that's really high standards and I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, I'm like falling asleep, so I should stop this. And I'll catch you in the morning. Good night. Okay, hi, hello. It is 20 degrees again. So, trying something a little bit different to keep myself warm. I actually got this to use as a Halloween costume, but it didn't come in time. And it's very cozy. I'm a cozy bunny rabbit. I don't know if you can see my bunny rabbit ears. Okay, come on. I feel a little ridiculous, but it's worth it. Hello, good morning. I think it's day 3 and it is a couple minutes after I was supposed to start my reading section for today, but I technically started already because I ended up doing some light reading of Jane Eyre this morning. So I am technically ahead. I think I spent 30-ish minutes, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it was that long. Yeah, I spent 30 minutes exactly reading this morning. So I have a little bit of time to kill before I have to do that. I did actually want to focus on zettels this morning, but I think I am going to continue this a little bit because I didn't get as far as I wanted to in that 30 minute. But let me see. Also, I only have 10 minutes. Oh, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I only have 10 minutes left. of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I did feel like I was pretty close to the end, honestly. That's amusing. I can finish this right now. That's so silly. Okay, hi, hello. I have finished Alice's Adventure in Wonderland, and it is exactly what I was expecting and remembered with, even though I keep saying this, despite the fact that I'm pretty sure I've never actually read the book. Maybe I have. You know what? Maybe, because I do know there was a period of time where I was just like randomly reading a bunch of audiobooks from Libby / Overdrive back before it was like fully Libby. And it's possible. There's a small chance that maybe I had listened to the audiobook for this before. Now, this one also has Through the Looking Glass, which I did not read. So I've only read one of the 2 stories on here, but that was fun. I completed that. I enjoyed it. I do think I might go and find Through the Looking Glass, but it's Alice's Adventure in Wonderland that I'm thinking of doing my own spin on for my November curriculum. Kind of. I don't know if that's fully for the curriculum, but the curriculum is around that project. So I was coming up with a whole bunch of other ideas that I can also use. So pretty much that could be anything.
On the other jammies. I have to cut his wee hole if we keep it, but I think it's too big. I think this one's also too big. I think I'm gonna return it.
Hi, hello, and welcome to, I believe, day 5. We skipped yesterday, not from lack of trying. Where is it? Oh my god! Oh my god! How did this happen? Like, I'm freaking out because I was so focused on my dog. But yeah, I had quite the emotional morning because I had found out that my puppy, my little baby boy, has this just like, I want to say giant gaping wound. It's not that. It's like the size of a nickel. I think it's a puncture wound. I think it's from playing with the other dogs. And I think the reason why it's so big is because of the location and the fact that like he moves. So I think it got stretched out. So it got like pulled open because I've gotten a puncture wound from him accidentally that looks very similar, but mine was teeny tiny. And I think that's just because of the placement. I keep looking at them and being all like, this looks similar to mine, but like 4 or 5 times the size. So that's wild. And then I looked up a whole bunch of like care stuff. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying. He came in and distracted me. I'm still kind of freaking out that I didn't notice it sooner. Like, that is really getting me, but he was in his onesies. So anyway, on top of that, yesterday was a bit of a failure in terms of my habit building. So I did end up reading. I did some fairly deep reading of Adulthood Rights, the second book in the Lilith's Brood trilogy that I'm buddy reading with my older sibling. And we talked about that last night and it was fantastic. And I did end up spending time doing this, but neither of those things were done during the dedicated time that I'm trying to do it at. And so it kind of counts, but it doesn't count. I don't know how I want to go about that because, like, the whole point is to get into the habit of doing it in the morning. Like, that is the habit. It's not just doing the things. So hopefully we can get back on track today. We've got like half an hour before my dedicated time to do stuff, so I'm kind of easing into things. One of the problems that I am having is I have these 2 hours that are pretty solid in the morning that I can work on being productive and doing things that matter to me. But so is writing and video editing and, you know, working on certain projects. And so should I be able to use that time for something else? How flexible is it or isn't? Because right now, like, I'm in a flow state. I think the biggest thing that I want for this habit is to be productive during this time. And if I'm a little bit more flexible with how I can use that time, I think that will help with the habit building. And it's possible that once I get into the habit of, oh, it's this time I need to hunker down and deep focus on meaningful, deep, important project work or whatever, then I can be a little bit more specific about it. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Am I being silly? So does this make sense? I think it makes sense. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna have it be like, yeah. We did it. We decided. We figured it out. How things are always changing. It's nice to be more flexible and open with this kind of stuff. I think that's very important. And I'm always afraid to do it even though I know it's beneficial, but because I get so excited and I share things before it's all solidified, I feel like then I have to force myself to do the thing that I shared even if it's not working, and that's stupid. So let me ride this wave that is working, continue to be productive, but just in a different way than I was originally planning, which is okay. So that's what we're doing right now.
And it's nice here. You can kind of see some of what I'm working on. I like this one right here. I do need to get a photo because I'm talking about the zettelkasten, which I might do a video on later. And then I already took some pictures, as you can see. I did not finish all of this, so I would like to make more progress
and get things done. So let's do it. Hi, hello. I am successful with the goal today, except I spent all of it just working on the Substack post. That took way longer than I was thinking. I'm gonna read through it again just to make sure I don't have any like ridiculous spelling or grammar mistakes. I'm sure they will happen. I am not an editor. I'm not good at that kind of stuff, but hopefully like the value of the content would be enough for people to still enjoy. So I do feel bad posting this late, but I'm like, let me get it out so that when it comes to doing the next one, I have an idea of what I'm doing. And it's funny because I was like, oh, this isn't an official syllabus. And then I have like the whole like TBR list and everything. So like, it's still pretty structured. And so I'll do that. Again, do this read because I don't want to have anything like super obvious that I could easily catch go out in it. And then I'll probably add a link to this to that other video and maybe even to this one. So if you're interested, I'll have the link in the comment section or the description or something like that. So, all right. And I do have optional paid subscription, which part of me's all like, please don't do it yet. Even if you're like, I want to support the channel, I'm still figuring out what I'm going to be doing, but I wanted it to be set up so that I don't have to worry about it later, like going back and adding it later. Whereas I do want it to be like an optional thing that if people are like, I love the content that you do and I want you to do more of it and yada, yada, yada. I don't know. So I don't really want people to be like, oh, I've got to pay. You don't. Everything's free. And I kind of think I want to keep that model forever, where it's, I'm doing the optional paid model where some people can do that if they want to support, but it's not necessary, that kind of thing. Because I'm kind of tired of having like the Patreon where things have to happen a certain way, or I have to post stuff for the patrons. Like, I'm just not in that mode right now. That's a like future thing. Once work isn't as crazy as it is, that could be a possibility to do again in the future, because I do really enjoy having special things for the patrons. I miss Patreon, honestly, but it's just overwhelming. I did add links for the books that I mentioned, affiliate links. I need to find another place because right now all of my affiliate links go to Amazon, and I don't really want to promote and support Amazon that much. I have switched my book wish list to bookshop.org, which I have done some orders for them. I'm in a tight budget situation right now, so I'm not going to be able to buy new books for a while, which is a little sad. Unless it's like very, very specific. I'm gonna have to be super limited to what I buy because finances from 2025 have been really, really horrible. And so I've done quite a number on things. So I'm still okay at the moment, but it's not great. It's really not great. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let me finish this out so that I can be done with this productive session and I can post it. Okay, hi, hello. I have a good deal of updates to give you, and I've been struggling trying to give them to you, if I'm being honest with you, because I just feel like I'm being so rambly. So today is the first day of my vacation. It's really more the day for me to get ready for the actual trip and travel, which I plan on doing a dedicated video for, like a travel reading vlog. Since I'm going for a wedding, I'm thinking I'm gonna lean towards romance type novels. I'm not super in the mood for contemporary romance. That might be sprinkled in, but I might try and find books that have romance elements that fit into other categories just so that I can have some options. But I do want to figure out that TBR today. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing soon. And I did continue my read of A Brief History of Seven Killings by Marlon James, which is about the attempted assassination of Bob Marley in 1976. A couple days before his Smile Jamaica concert, and it's around, I guess it's a long period, and it includes a lot of different people. So the gunmen, drug dealers, one night stands, CIA agents, and even ghosts are some of the like perspectives that we end up getting from it. It's a lot of dark, gross, gritty things. So trigger warnings, especially if that's something that you struggle with. Then on top of that, I've been listening to the audiobook with it. I have done some annotations, but not a lot. I love listening to the audiobook, and you've got, you know, pretty thick patois Jamaican accents, which I love as somebody who's Jamaican American and who grew up around my Jamaican family. So there's a nostalgia to it, even though I unfortunately have not been to Jamaica yet. I will say though, reading about this, which is around a time that my family fled Jamaica, is tough. Like, it's tough to hear the dark, gritty details of a place that I have idolized to some degree, like thought of it as this, you know, beautiful oasis. And then I'm reading a book that's talking about the dark underbelly of a really dark time there. And so that has been difficult, honestly. So I don't imagine I'm gonna finish this anytime soon. I don't even think I'm fully at the halfway point. I'm close though. This is just something that I wanted to listen to while doing other things, because most of the other books I'm currently in the process of reading are books that I'm deeply reading and annotating, and so that's not particularly good if I just want to listen to an audiobook while I'm packing and prepping and doing all of the last minute things before the trip. So yeah, this is where we're at the moment. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about everything. I guess I should mention that because this is a day off, I have not done my habits, and I don't think I'm going to be doing it for the trip for the most part. I was going to try and do it today, but I've just been so busy doing other stuff that I'm already like halfway through the time that is supposed to be the dedicated chunk. And so I was like, oh shoot, I missed it. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just not worry about it for the trip time, and then when I come back I can get back into doing it. Oh, I guess I should also give you an update that, oh, you can't see him, he's down here, that the peanut butter cup is doing so much better. His little wound is I wouldn't say it's like healed. Obviously it's not healed, but it's scabbed over. So it's in a good space for him to like move around and do stuff. Have them still keep an eye on it, which they said that they will, thank goodness. But he's fine. It seems like it scabs over and creates a good protective seal pretty quickly. And because he wears clothes, it makes it even easier for it to be protected and not messed with. But he's going to be at the daycare center, and when they let him out, he usually gets his clothes really like wet and dirty, so they usually take it off. So that's kind of where issues can happen. But I'll do a big like cleaning and review when I get him back, just to make sure that no issues have happened over the couple of days that he's there. So yeah, those are all of the updates, I guess, at this point. You made it in this far. Include a pet emoji of some kind, preferably dog related, since it's been a dog heavy week for me. And yeah, thanks for all of the love and support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, bye.